I think it's obvious that today we're going to be appreciating a franchise that I've been following for a long time, one that I've been a fan of since the beginning, and I really feel the need to talk about it today because it's relevant. I am, of course, talking about the Bad Ben franchise. That's right, the 6th installment of the Bad Ben franchise was just released, and I eagerly watched it. They're hysterically self-indulgent movies that only release when the creator discovers a new editing technique or completes one of the tutorials in Adobe Premiere or After Effects. This time it was compositing. Needless to say, those movies are true wonders that I hope everybody experiences because not enough people know about it, which is obviously something that I don't need to say for Detective Pikachu. I'm sure you can tell by my attire, but I am dressed as the esteemed, ultra-popular, and in this case nihilist, Pokemon prof, Birch. He is my favorite, because he's the only one I can cosplay as without having to shave my full facial hair off. And I guess I could do the other guy, what's his name, Professor Kiliwa? No, that's somebody else. I did just have a happy moment, though, where I pictured the characters of Hunter x Hunter as Pokemon trainers. Last year I reviewed the video game version of Detective Pikachu, and I thought it was a fun little side adventure. I thought it did what I had wished the main games would do for a long time, and that is use the Pokemon for something outside of fighting or transportation. To me, there's just something inherently clever about an 80-pound dragonfly doubling as a cameraman. It was little things like that that made Rhyme City feel like a real place that I would want to visit. So I was a smidge disappointed that Movie Rhyme City basically viewed the Pokemon as one-to-one animal counterparts, and they're only used for fighting or as, like, cute pets. Like, if I were walking around with a Mudkip, I would totally exploit its little head fin that it can use as a radar. I don't know how I would do that, but I read in its Pokédex entry that that's an ability that it has. This world is ripe for exploitation, and the people who don't see that should move somewhere else, I guess. Foolishly, this movie decided to focus on its story and on the relationship between its two main characters, Tim and his fluffy, intellectual, coffee-drinking merch magnet, Pikachu. Like, seriously, this Pikachu is so freaking adorable. There's gonna be millions of kids who walk out of the theater disappointed they're not gonna be able to take him home with them. Millions of kids and me. You know, I was worried when I went into this movie that I wasn't gonna like all of the realistic Pokemon designs, but that just wasn't the case. I audibly went, "Aww," when I saw the Bulbasaurs. It was, shall we say, audible. Don't you stare at me with your judging face. I would say all of those realistic designs were pretty much perfect. I mean, except for Mewtwo. He looked a little bit too much like a man in a Mewtwo bodysuit for my liking. And it was pretty swole, though, so I guess, you know, if anything, the perverts will like it. Which brings me to my least favorite part of the film overall, and that was the people I saw it with. The denizens of North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and their children have a lot to answer for. I saw this movie in a decently crowded house with a diverse group of people of all races, ages, and genders. In fact, I'd go so far as to say the only thing about the group that wasn't diverse was the fact that outside of myself, everyone else in the theater was dead. I saw this movie with a 6-year-old, and I knew more of the Pokemon than he did, so clearly he's the one with the problem. The most important thing is that I'm excited for what this movie means for the Pokemon franchise. It proved that a movie like this can work, and can work really well, and I'm excited to see what they do next. And in fact, if I could make a suggestion, I'd really love it if they could make a live-action version of the Island of Giant Pokemon, because it's my favorite episode from the anime, and what I really love about that particular episode is it's about the Pokemon interacting with each other. And if we're gonna make that movie, can we please shoehorn an Ampharos in? Because he's my favorite. And while we're at it, can I play his voice? Because I love him, and he is my favorite of the Pokemon, and it's my fantasy, so I think it's a reasonable request, so... Speaking of voices, Ryan Reynolds was absolutely fine as Detective Pikachu. I know a lot of people wanted Danny DeVito, and I think there were even petitions to that effect. But, I mean, come on, guys, he clearly would have been better as a Garbodor. Obviously. Mudkip, use go over there. Thank you for watching everyone this little video that I put together on Detective Pikachu. If you liked it, you should like and subscribe, and if you didn't, well, I guess it sucks to be you. If you admire my ability to restrain myself from using spoilers, you should donate to my Patreon, or at the very least just subscribe to the channel. Just do whatever you can to make me popular. Like, I write books too, you should give them a read if you want. I guess you could also tell me what you thought about the movie in the comments if you're so inclined, so until next time, goodbye, decent friends.